All right. Welcome in. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Grounds Crew? Hope everybody's good. Wednesday, June 3rd, 10 a.m. Got a good show today, actually. So a lot of interesting stuff to investigate. Some people who didn't even succeed last night, but we got to kind of see why. Dig into that a little bit. Some prospects, some otherworldly experience last night. Kyle Harrison continues to shove. Been working behind the scenes on this VAA tool. Should be ready this week, maybe tomorrow. Let me put on the air conditioning. But overall, yep, Gage Jump. That's right, Victoria. You're right. We'll be watching him. We got a whole bunch of people. Obviously, tonight, most of my attention will be towards these guys right here. The Knickerbockers facing the Spurs tonight, trying to make my 14-year-old self feel very good about that. But appreciate you guys that are here with me now, and I'm sure more will join as we get into it. But I'd like to get started, just get right into the standings, and then we will head right off into our topics from last night. So here is where we sit today, Wednesday, June 3rd. In the American League East, Tampa Bay, 36-22, one game up on the Yankees. Baltimore and Toronto are the next two. They're 3 under 500. They're trying. Baltimore's actually played a little better this past week. They put a hurting on the Red Sox yesterday, and that's the Red Sox. They are now 11.5 back in the division, and seems to be some turmoil there. 9-20 at Fenway is crazy. 9-20. You don't often see that out of a team with such strong fan support at home, and also a quirky ballpark. All right, AL Central, Cleveland, 2.5 up on the White Sox. They had a great performance yesterday versus Schlittler, so I want to dig in on that. Royals are now in last. Detroit got a couple guys back. Kerry Carpenter, I believe, might be back, but definitely Glaber, and he homered in his first at-bat. So they beat the Rays yesterday. AL West, Seattle, winners of 8 in a row. They won the first two versus the Mets. Mets are tough right now, but Mariners are who are starting to be who we thought they were. They're now 4 over 500. The run differential's headed in the right direction. They could be creating separation, but at the same moment, the Rangers have now won 5 in a row. They are 2.5 back. A's are now 3 back, and Angels are pulling up the rear in this division. In the NL East, 41-20 Atlanta Braves, 9.5 up on the Phillies. That's a pretty sizable gap. We've seen, obviously, that get erased before, but the Braves have to feel good about where they're at. Mets now 15 back, losers of 2 in a row. I feel like they got to win 3 out of the next 4 on this road trip to get the good feeling back. Not great, but they're going against the hot team, so it's tough. NL Central, Brewers, 5.5 up on the Pirates. They've created a little bit of separation. They've played really, really well. Really, the combination of Mizorowski and Harrison has been kind of the separator in my mind. Those two guys have been pretty much automatic over the past month. So they're up. 7 back are the Reds. They seem to be the one team in this division that I'm starting to worry about a little bit, especially offensively and bullpen-wise. Even some of their good results in the bullpen seem to be a little bit like a little bit of a fake success so far. All right, Dodgers, 39-22. They won again, beating the Diamondbacks last night. They are 6 games up in the division now versus against the Padres, who are actually, they have a solid record, but they've been 3-7 in the last 10, and a lot of their success feels a little not real either. So we'll track them. Diamondbacks have been the team that's played well lately, but they did lose last night to the Dodgers. And then you have the Giants, who are now in last beyond the Rockies. I think they're the most disappointing team in the big leagues. Them, probably Toronto and Boston. Those 3, I'd say, so far. And then the Mets. Those 4 have been the most disappointing teams. You got to count Detroit a little bit, too. Maybe those 5. A lot of expectations with those 5 teams. And the Giants are in last place, so that's tough, man. That's a really tough gig. All right, let me pop over to the coffee cups. Added a new thing here, which will be live this weekend when the Super Regionals start off, so we'll get to see some college appearances. So Carson Benge is the winner on the score chart here. 3 coffee cups. He goes 2 for 3 with 2 home runs. Hyberto Hernandez also had 2 pumps, as did Spencer Steer. Those are the 2 home run club guys. Anybody have a 4-hit day? 2 4-hit days, Marsh and Mangum. All right, pitchers. Kyle Harrison takes the prize. 5 2/3, 12 strikeouts. Noah Cameron had a great game. Jack Flaherty, 5 innings, no runs. Gage Jump's probably the other guy we're going to watch here. In terms of win probability added, Gage Jump actually wins the award last night. 36.8 WPA added in that one. Top reliever performance looks like Jalen Beeks. Let me see the batter's WPA from yesterday. Will Benson. So he got he got a pinch hit home run, and that was the deciding factor in the game. So he wins the title there. Goldschmidt, Jock Peterson had a big hit that put Texas up on St. Louis, so he gets it there. As for our top prospects, this is the offensive performers. Zaire Hope of the Dodgers, 2 home run night. Lázaro Montes of the Mariners, 2 home run night. 4-hit night for Joshua Baez. And on the pitching side, Jaime Arnold of the Athletics system. 7 innings, no runs in Double-A for Midland. If you've ever been to Midland, there ain't a lot in Midland, except some oil money, a lot of wind, and a stadium and some high school football stadiums. A lot of big high school football stadiums if you've never been there. All right, so that's the coffee cups. I think what we should do is we should go get our... probably our Mets stuff out of the way first. I mean, we got to watch Benge's at-bats, and then we got to watch Jonah Tong. We got to follow up a little bit on Jonah and kind of see what went right, what went wrong from that game yesterday. But we'll definitely watch Carson Benge because he's been coming along quite a bit. 2 for 3, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a walk. He's up to 705 OPS. Remember when we watched his video at the beginning, he definitely looked a little bit overmatched by the fastballs, but I feel like a lot of that has started to turn around for the kid. If you go to your game logs here, he posted a 504 OPS in April, and then he posted an 801 OPS in May. So how about that for a bounce back month, second month? 306, 375, 426 in May, and he's off to a killer start with the game last night in June. So, we talked a little bit about his stance changes and some of the things that he's done in an effort to kind of cut down on how long his load takes to get his swing off. But the swing itself is short and powerful, so that's a good combination. We've talked about that a lot. I'm a fan of him and of Ewing, and I think they're getting the best education possible right now, albeit in a tough time for the ball club, but they're getting full runway on a big-time team with a lot of guys around him to learn from, and they're taking their lumps at times, and then they're learning how to bounce back, and it's all good stuff. So, I see you, Emlo Verde. Yeah, we're gonna watch all of Tong, so he's coming up next. But I want to watch Carson Benge, and he got 3 at bats versus Gilbert and 1 versus Cooper Criswell. Logan Gilbert's a tough matchup. So this is the first at-bat. He's going to strike out, but it's a long, drawn-out at-bat, so let's see how it progresses. All right, 96-7 right down Broadway for strike 1, first pitch of the game. Here comes another heater. Up and away, he's underneath that. If he could just aim just a hair higher a lot of times on his fastball swing, he'd be doing such damage. But he shaves under it quite a bit. All right, so 0-2 on 2 fastballs. Right to the changeup, Logan Gilbert. Ooh, a little check swing fight off there. Splitter. That's a take. He's got that knuckleball action split a la, Roki Sasaki, Cade Smith, a couple others. There's the slider. And, I feel like a lot of people don't watch a ton of Logan Gilbert because the Mariners are always playing late games, but he's another guy that when he's a free agent, he's going to get super paid because he's been durable. He's got a lot of, metrics that people are going to like, you know, including the extension, 7-7, number 1 in extension in the league. So there's a lot of things they're going to like about him. And I do think at some point he's going to get paid and he'll be coming to a different market. That's a great take on a fastball down. Now, obviously, he's trying to see the fastball up and not chase the breaking balls down. So that's why this works. And it could have been a low freeze, but ends up being ball 3. So good try, but he doesn't chase that either. So give him credit. All right, 3-2, another heater. See, this is interesting. I'm pushing hard for Dugout app to start giving us these metrics over here on every swing: attack angle, bat speed, shoulder tilt. Because to me, it'd be interesting to see just how scoopy he got on this ball down, because he's underneath this ball. I mean, you look at the swing path he had earlier on the ball up in the zone. He was a lot flatter, but he was still under it. And here he's under this one again, even though this is in seemingly the happy zone. So I don't know. I find that fascinating, and I think it would be cool, you know, to see that in real time. All right, another foul ball. Another huge swing fouled back. Another slightly under it foul ball, and then he's going to punch out, but he did waste 11 pitches in the first at-bat before striking out. And I can tell you right now, as a starting pitcher, I've been in this spot before, minor leagues or whatever. You get an 11-pitch at-bat first batter, that sucks. You want that to be quick. And you can kind of see that Logan's a little bit like, man, that was a lot of work. All right, so that's the first at-bat. He does strike out on a fastball. Saw a ton of fastballs. Here's the second at-bat. Fastball up, ball, and then he's going to take him deep on a cutter. Kind of a middle down meatball cutter right in the bat path. Honestly, a really dumb pitch. And this is the problem I talk about a lot with the cutters. I mean, you know, cutter in well-located spot is a great pitch, despite this metric being kind of Mesa, 6.3, -3, and it's kind of whatever. It does have 91 miles an hour. But my biggest issue with the cut, first of all, this target sucks. You don't really want this ball right here. That's not where you want it. And then he's going to go down to try to frame it. So now every single bit of the presentation by the catcher is telling you to throw the ball low, and in reality, you want to throw this ball high. You want to get this ball up and in. So even if you're intending to throw it up and in, though, my point is sometimes you make a mistake and you leave it middle down in, which is what he does here, but I think the setup didn't help him either. So, stupid pitch. That's a pitch Ben should drive every time, and he does there for the home run. Takes advantage of the mistake. Hits it a $110, 110. I mean, that's no joke. That ball's absolutely punished. So, great swing by the kid. But again, it's more of like a timing thing that he kind of walked into here, in my opinion. You know, you look at the swing. He's got that leg kick, the big pull back. Like, it takes a long time, plus it's a long stride to get to the point where he's ready to really fire the hands. And that's why I think the fastball continues to beat him at times. But a medium speed pitch, like a cutter, down, he's going to be on time for that every single opportunity he gets. And that's what he gets there for the first home run off Gilbert. So now he's going to face him for a third time, and he's going to homer again. So let's watch how this one happens. Four-seam down, non-competitive. I'm guessing it's another fastball here. I mean, I'd be surprised if he goes off speed here. Plus the fact that it's a home run to center, I'm just going to guess this another fastball misses down. So let's see. Yep, fastball. Let's see the location. So it's middle. It's not as low as I expected, but this time he does get on plane with it and smokes it out to center once again. So second home run off of Gilbert. Now I know Gilbert has a, what did he have in that moment? He had a 5-run lead in that moment. So he's not trying to do anything but make the batters earn it. But, you know, good for Carson. He came out and earned it. He knew he was probably going to get fastballs, considering he got beat with fastballs in that very first at-bat. He cheats to it here in a little bit of a way, I think. Yeah, a little bit early on the load maybe, and gets to a ball kind of right down the middle and does his thing on it. So let's see how early he loads. I mean, it's hard to tell because we can't see the pitcher, but I felt like he got started a little bit earlier there. So I'll give him credit for great anticipation there. Tremendous anticipation. And then he comes up his last at-bat and gets a 4-pitch walk. So this is kind of a meaningless walk. But, you know, he ends up walking off Criswell. So he ends up going 2 for 3, 2 home runs and a walk. So great day at the yard for the kid. Obviously in a losing effort. But between him and Ewing, I mean, there's nothing more exciting than young, exciting players that come up. They're homegrown. You get to kind of watch the whole journey. And you kind of see the spark from the beginning. And you kind of ride or die with these guys. So Ewing and Benge are two guys that, you know, Mets fans have a reason to tune in for every day. So that's my first thing here. Yeah, Spectre, let them know. We need some likes, all 47 of you guys in here. All right, let's see what we got in the chat, and then we'll go look at Jonah Tong next. Gilbert is the best of the bunch in Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I'm partial to Kirby. I mean, I'm a little biased because he's like a New York guy, and I love his strike throwing, but Gilbert's right there, and I actually think Gilbert's probably better. So I would rank them right now in their rotation. Gilbert, Kirby, Wu. I know that's crazy. A lot of people are going to have Wu at the top. Those three are dynamite, interchangeable. And then you probably got to put Miller and, well, Hancock. Probably got to put Hancock and Miller ahead of Castillo. Castillo's now the 6th guy in a crazy turn of events. And then you have Cade Anderson coming. So you see. When does Cade get the call? Seems like they could start overcooking him. I don't know. There's no room for him, but I'm sure there'll be a spot start opportunity at some point. Issue is, now that they're doing that piggyback situation and it seems like they've pissed off 2 guys, they'll probably just give one of those guys the spot start. I don't know, but Cade Anderson has been doing well enough in AAA that you would think he'll get his cup of coffee soon, and you want to keep him in the rotation, obviously. And you don't think we're going to see Cade this year? I'd be surprised. I mean, hopefully we do. 8.5 edibles. No, Kyle Harrison, he'll be coming up probably in about 20 minutes. Crazy to think you can strike out and still do damage in a small way. Yeah, like that first at-bat where he punches out, but he did, you know, grind down 11 pitches. So this is like something that nobody ever talks about anymore. Like, it used to be a point of pride to, like, I remember Brett Gardner at one point, one of his main goals was to lead the league in pitches seen at the plate. That stopped becoming a thing because it became all about chase rate and taking your chances to do damage in an effort to juice that OPS. So that stat stopped being, you know, exciting. And then the other thing I remember about it is, like, as a St. Louis Cardinals pitcher, and I remember Chris Carpenter actually talking about this recently on To the Majors podcast with Pilar and Cody Allen. He's talking about how as pitchers we were taught to make every at-bat at least 5 pitches to try to drive that pitch count up. I feel like some of the calculus has shifted on this because the relievers are so nasty, so it's less about getting the starter out as much as about beating the starter. But nevertheless, if you're leading off the game and you milk 11 pitches out of the starting pitcher, like, that's beautiful. He's not probably escaping that inning, you know, anywhere. He's going to get out of it at 20 instead of 10, and now you've probably taken a potential inning away from him, or he's going to have to go out there searching for a quick out, and sometimes that can lead to damage. So either way, he doesn't get the result there, but he gets partial credit for the 11 pitch at bat. I agree with that. Gilbert's slider and splitter reminds me of Rocky's slider and fork. Totally agree, Joel. It's kind of curious because Gilbert was a true pronator. His active spin was 97% in the 4-seam last year. This year it's at 92 with more cut. So the Mariners seem to have been at the forefront this year of actually lowering their active spin and trying to create a little more natural cut out of their guys, I think in an effort to create more shapes overall. So you got me thinking here. And now I want to go look at Logan Gilbert for a second. Because I guess if you're a true pronator and you have that high of a spin efficiency, it does become hard to create a lot of east-west action. And you want to have a pitch to handle every situation, then you'd like to have more east-west action as well. So, yeah, I mean, look, the split and the slider, these two are actually on top of each other movement-wise, which similar to Roki, but I find it interesting because it's like different spins, but they end up in the same area. So there's a little bit of a spin, eyesight trick there, perception trick with the batter going. But anyway, yeah, to throw a changeup with that much run on it, which is 15 inches of run, and then a sweeper. No, where's the curveball. I guess he calls this a curveball. It's kind of like a sweeper with 15.8 the other way. You're going to have to get on the side of the ball a little bit. So you come down here to the active spin. To your point, this is a great point, by the way. Active spin, yep, 97 97% on the four seam last season. This year, 92. And what pitches has he picked up? A cutter, which is a little bit of an east-west pitch in a way. And he's also picked up the changeup, which has a ton of movement to the arm side, which is something that he wasn't throwing before. So now he's got an arm side fader changeup, a straight down split, which is a very interesting combination. Also kind of reminds me of Roki with the two different splitters. So again, he's trying to add more variation into his game and a little more east-west. And he's actually doing it without lowering his arm angle, because his arm angle is actually up back to his 2024 levels at 44 degrees, where it was 41 before. So I think that's part of the plan here with Logan Gilbert. They're going to sacrifice a little bit of lift on the four seam. Like this year's shape of the four seam is 16.9 vert. It's, what's crazy is he actually has just as much lift, but he's horizontal breaking it less because he's around the ball a little more. Weird. So they found a way to give him less active spin, but maybe better seam orientation. And he's capturing the lift better because he's got more vertical break with less spin efficiency, which you don't see a lot. 16.9. I guess the arm angle could have something to do with that. 16.9 IVB here, and it's 16.5 last year. But again, I think introducing a little cut into the system will help you create more east-west shapes. Now he has a changeup with huge arm side fade. This pitch, he didn't have it before. And then also, the curveball's probably come a little bit more sweepy, I would imagine. Sorry, I'm curious. Curveball last season was -3 and 13. This is -3.7 and 15. So it gained about 2.5 inches of extra glove side movement. So I think it's all related in terms of what they're trying to do with his arsenal. Great comment, though. Great comment there. I ask myself if it wasn't better for Roki to follow the same, even though Gilbert has better feeling for different grips. I mean, we're going to have to keep watching Roki. And honestly, how this works out, I don't know. Is this change good for Logan Gilbert or not good? It's not like he wasn't successful before. Look at the previous 2 years, 3.23, 3.44, a bunch of innings, tons of strikeouts, low whips. I mean, he's been good. So anyway, maybe this is an effort to be great. I don't know. Did you do the coffee cups? Yep. We took a peek at him. We'll have to peek back at him again, though, only. I thought I saw a stat where batters are overall seeing a lot more pitches per plate appearance this year, partially because of the new ABS system. Yeah, so walks are up, so I feel like guys are taking more borderline pitches, and that is leading to a slight elevation in pitches per plate appearance. But what I'm saying is that skill, like the fouling you off and seeing 10 pitches because of like fouling off borderline pitches, that type of skill is just not valued as much anymore, mainly because it's less of a downgrade when they bring in a reliever. I think before, the whole idea was get the starter out, beat up on these crappy relievers. Flo Rogan. Thoughts on Braxton Ashcraft and the Pirates rotation? One of the best rotations in the game, definitely in the top 5, in my opinion, at the moment. Obviously, Skeens and Ashcraft are kind of 1 and 1A at the moment. Mitch Keller's been tremendous. I say he's a solid 2 in my book. Jared Jones was explosive, even though he got beat up a little bit in that first game. And then, Bubba, I know Bubba pitched last night, so we'll keep looking in on him. There's the whole saga with Moldinsky. But you got to like those top 4. You got to feel good about those top 4. Yeah, it's a sweeper, right, Gilbert, the sweeping curve. Why is Grayson Rodriguez so buns? Well, he looked okay his last game. Maybe if we have time, we can check him out today. Thoughts on Jonah Tong? Perfect timing on that because that's who we're going to look at next. He also pitched last night. He's one of the pillars of the show, one of the people that we like to track. We've tracked him since his debut. Obviously, he's a super unique, exciting young pitcher. He's now doing this piggyback role, which I'm not the biggest fan of all the time. But let's watch him. He's got interesting stuff. We talked about how the arm angles changed. The shapes have changed a little bit. Anyway, I watched the beginning of his outing where he looked electric, so I didn't see how all this went down, and I'm curious to check it out. So Jonah Tong, 3 1/3 in relief, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earnings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a home run, 83 pitches. Player breakdown for Jonah last night, 35 heaters, 25 changeups, 20 cutters. Cutters become a big part of the arsenal these last 2 games. And honestly, the more I watch it, I'm not totally down on it yet. I kind of want Kind of want to check it out a little more before I really make my determination, but it seems to be a useful pitch for him. And then he's only threw 3 curveballs, which is his super slow pitch. Didn't get a ton of whiff. I mean, I do feel like he's become a different... He has to figure it out a little bit differently at the big league level than the minor league level, where he was clearly just overwhelming guys with swing and miss. I don't think that's going to be the case in the big league, so he's going to have to do a little bit of pitching out there, controlling contact, and then putting guys away when he gets the right opportunity, and really figuring out his formulas, righty and lefty in the big leagues. 42% first pitch strikes. That's probably part of the reason for the struggle. A little bit of a pullback there. And he did get chased, but he's not establishing enough dictation in these at-bats, in my opinion. So anyway, Jonah pitched. Came in after Brazoban. You know, I didn't understand this in the first inning. You know, they've been bringing starters in all the time with guys on base. They decide to stick with Braz. I know he's been amazing, but he ends up getting clipped by Patrick Wisdom on a 2-strike home run. And that, you know, ended up kind of putting a sour note on the end of his outing. Anyway, here's Jonah Tong. So let's watch his whole at-bat. See what Carl's got before we get into it. Piggyback is overdone. Guys need to learn what it's like to start the game. Third time through the order stuff isn't always the best, the be-all and end-all. I agree, and I understand what they're doing, and they're trying to win these games, but ultimately, Jonah Tong, you want to see what he can do starting the ball game. And I don't know. Brazoban's good. It's tough. I mean... The opener strategy, I just, in spots and depending on your roster, but I don't see any reason why Jonah can't start the game, personally. I don't know. It's up in the air to me. All right, here we go. Jonah Tong, we'll watch all the pitches. He came in with a man on second, 2 outs here in the second inning to face J.P. Crawford. It's a fastball with 20 inches of vert for a foul ball. It's another fastball with 20 inches of vert here. That's a great location up and in. And then another fastball, this one right down the middle, and he takes it, and that's at almost 97 miles an hour. So not sure what JP was looking for here, because this pitch is directly down the meat of the plate, but 3 fastballs and a strikeout for Jonah, first batter. Here is Julio. Start the third inning. There's that cutter. So this one didn't have the lift that he's been having. This one only had 5.8 inches of vert on it, so it kind of played like a slider. And in a way, this might have been a slider. This might be a misread. So ball 1, up and away. Here's a fastball. Four seam up.
And we were watching the first pitch of that at bat really closely, and that was going to tell us the sign of...
Yeah, 3 straight slide steps with the guy on second. Maybe that's something that he's trying to implement into his game. Because I think he could benefit from doing this really long delivery that he has, and then also doing a quicker delivery for timing reasons. I think he could benefit from that. He's a little bit too deliberate with his wind-up timing for me. Change up down 2-2. Now that was a good changeup, and honestly just a better swing by Julio to have length in that to even foul that off. This pitch is perfect because it's right over the bottom of the plate, and then it drops out below, but that's a good foul ball. And then here's 98. That should have been ball 4, but he gets the chase. I mean, look at the angle on this ball coming out. We talked already about his delivery and the way he kind of can open his front hip to an extreme angle. But it's definitely crazy. And then he comes with the changeup, and he punches him out looking with the changeup up and in. So sort of a weird location here, but that's his second strikeout looking in the first 2 batters. So Julio strikes out. Next up is Randy Arozarena. 4-seam away, ball. Another 4-seam coming here. Another ball.
Feel for the natural 4-seam that would have a lot of ride.
He's going to have to fight himself and the urge to over-rotate that front shoulder of the upper body, because he's got to find a way to keep everything funneled towards the plate. Here's a cutter, and this one is a real cutter, and this one's good. 13 inches of vert at 93. You're going to get a lot of righties off the end, and it's still going to protect that fastball. There's a 4-seam in. Now, I want to point out a pretty good adjustment, targeting adjustment by Hayden Sanger here, the catcher. He wants this ball middle away, but they go ahead and set up in the inner lane so that he can start it on the inner lane and then still get it to the outer third and not miss off the corner like he was before. Randy's mad he didn't swing at that, but he just saw a cutter that had more run on that. So now you see the cutter and the 4-seam kind of playing off of each other. All right, here's a hit. on a fastball. They're going to probably try to elevate. That's that same in target, but instead Jonah misses it down in. And then this is where the circus act started a little bit defensively for the run prevention Mets. Semien had 2 chances to get the out here and unfortunately didn't convert either of them. The first one is he makes a pretty big leap here. Got to get some box jumps in with DC in the training room after that. Work on your, with my guy Dustin Clark, Mets strength coach, or Tanner Miracle, my other guy. Get a little more explosive action, catch that ball, but no problem. He knocks it down. Problem is here, he kind of rushes the throw, had more time than he realized because Randy doesn't hustle, and he ends up crapping the throw away. So that ends up with a man on second when it should have been the second out of the inning. And, you know, just not a great way to start it, but it's also a bad pitch. So I'm also going to, you know, you have to say that as well. It's also a bad pitch. He meant to go up. He threw it down. All right, another bad play coming up right here. Fastball pulled in. It's that same mistake where he's kind of over-rotating. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with the direction of his foot. You know, his foot's not pointed straight at home. It's pointed out this way. So eventually you're going to rotate all the way into that direction, and he just overcooks these fastballs on occasion. That's what I see with him a little bit. You know, he's got to lean into this crossbody thing, but you got to still find a way to redirect it into the zone. And then here's the play by Vientos, where I think what happened, and Murphy did a good job actually explaining this on the broadcast. Daniel, this is while I was still awake, so I could talk about what happened when I was watching it. He thought this ball was hit like 100 miles an hour. When a ball's pulled right at you on a line as a first baseman, you get ready, and then if the ball can play like a changeup when it's not hit as hard, and then you get into this weird stabby mode, and your depth perception is off. And that's what happened here to Mark. Sucks for Jonah, but Mark whiffs on a pretty much an easy line out, only 88 off the bat. So he gets in on a guy's hands. Should have been a line out, and honestly, who knows? Maybe a double play. Let's see where Randy was getting off the bag here. Maybe a double play, maybe not. But either way, should have had an out. Should have had 2 outs in a row. I don't think he's going to get a double play. Randy's not far enough off, but tough go there for Vientos. So 1 run in on this play. And now there's going to be another man on base. Another man on second, and he's going to have to go ahead and face Cole Young. So starts him with the slow curveball for a ball. Now he's coming to the changeup. That's a good pitch. Now to the fastball. I probably would have thrown another changeup off that chase, but they don't see it that way. Pulls that fastball in. Here comes the changeup. Good pitch, fouled off. They're going back to the fastball again. I don't think between Sanger and Tong there's any swing reading going on. So they're trying to outstuff everybody and just try to be a little less predictable is what I'm seeing. Change up, fouled off. Here's a cutter. Backdoor, top shelf would be good. Yep. Missed a little low, but that was a good try. And then 4-seam here. Misses location again, but that one did play. Pops it up to Beatty. Nice play there. All right, and now Dominic Canzone, change up down. Here's a curveball. So I don't think he did anything wrong in this inning. He should have been out of this inning. But you can see a little bit of the symptoms of what goes wrong with him mechanically is at times he kind of over-rotates and has a tendency to pull his fastball or leave a changeup up or something like that. That time, I thought he did a good job reading that bat, actually. Threw a bunch of changeups and got the pop out. He finishes in defense mode, as in defending his head, not in a good defensive position. So, like, I don't care at all about defensive position. Like, I care much more about your pitch quality than any sort of defensive positioning. But to your point, he is a little bit like he must have gotten hit with a line drive at some point. He's a little jumpy on every play, and it makes me wonder if that's allowing him to really finish and be as in the target as he needs to be. All right, 4th inning.
They play from in front as Wisdom leads off the bottom of the 4th.
And Patrick Wisdom, who had homered off of Brazabon in his first at-bat. So there's a strike he should have got. That should have been 1-1. Instead, it's 2-0. Now he goes to 3-0. But it's that same miss, that pulled miss.
See what happens here.
He's so scared every time the ball comes off the bat. He is, and it makes me think like something happened before. He definitely got a scare before, and I get it. You're right there. I mean, your life is very much in the balance at times out there, but that can't be in your mind. You know, it can't be in your mind. All right, so gets screwed with a pitch there, kind of leads to the walk, but also didn't really make a great adjustment in that at bat. So leadoff walk, that's going to probably come back to haunt. Here is Johnny Pareda, cutter pulled off the plate away. Fastball pulled off the plate away. It continues to make the same mistake over and over again. So if I'm Sanger, I'm just setting up way inside every time I'm throwing a fastball or cutter for him, inside to a righty, to give him a better lane to get the ball over the plate. There's a cutter strike. There's a changeup. Really good pitch there. If I'm him, I'm throwing that again. Oh, they go curveball. I think maybe slide step curveball was a little tough for him. Tried to be quick here, and then the hand, he's just way early letting go of that thing. Doesn't let his arm travel. And that's going to get him to 3-2, and now they're going to go fastball. I mean, it's so obvious this batter's on fastball timing with the way he swung at that changeup, and then they don't go right back to the changeup. They go to non-competitive curveball and fastball down the middle. So the pitch selection here is so questionable. It's actually insane. But
here it comes.
you know, it's also a little bit of the command, not getting himself in a great situation this inning. Leadoff walk, couple pulled balls here. 2-1, no out. Next up, Colt Emerson.
Facing Tong for the first time.
Fastball up, ball. That was a good pitch to swing at, but he's taken all the way. Now to the changeup. I think he needs to lean into even more changeup, to be honest with you. Even when he misfires with his changeup, it seems to be relatively effective. And here's a good one to Emerson for a strikeout. I mean, that's a legitimately nasty pitch. He's taken a lot of spin off that. I wonder if he's kicking it now or... Yeah, it looks like it. I think so. I think he's spiked it a little bit more to get a little more drop. But the changeup's a legitimate good pitch. It's got double separation, speed, and movement. So nice pitch there for the strikeout. Here's Crawford. Changeup, great pitch again. This time Vientos makes the play, but it's foul. Another pulled fastball in. How many times in a row could you throw the same pitch without feeling uncomfortable that the batter was going to catch on? I actually hardly ever like to double up on anything, let alone triple up. But I have two rules of thumb here. If you're going to double up, same pitch, same location, you have to do one of two things. One, either change your timing up. So either, like I talked earlier about how he could do a high leg kick and a slide step within the same at-bat. Do that to change the timing. Or you in terms of location, you go from more hittable to less hittable as the at-bat progresses. You don't go back the other direction. So if you threw like a borderline pitch and you want to double up on it, don't throw the hittable one the next pitch, right? So you're much better off sticking and moving, but at times, of course, you do want to double up, but then it's just being smart about it. The other times I do like to double up is when you throw a non-competitive pitch, like a non-competitive slider, and then you think that the batter might have eliminated it, then you come back with it. But to answer your question, look, you could throw 5 in a row. I mean, shit, with the right matchup, sometimes that's the move, but you always want to be working from hittable to less hittable or messing with the timing. All right, there's another pulled fastball in. He's making the same miss a lot, so I know what I'd be working on. I mean, he even does it there with the changeup. I know what I'd be working on with him if I were Justin Willard or if I were Jonah myself. If I'm reviewing the tape, I would say, look, I'm having an issue where I'm sort of over pulling everything to the left. I need to figure out how to direct my energy a little bit more to the straightforward. And really, the command is what's cost him in this inning. Poor command for the first batter for the walk, poor command for the hit and pitch choices, and then this one's poor command gets him to bases loaded with 1 out. And now here's Julio. Struck out Julio the first time looking with a changeup. Cutter up in, swing and miss. Actually kind of like that pitch. Now he's going to double up on it, though. Gets it to the outer third. Actually a good pitch, honestly. I know it's a sac fly and it costs him a run, but got him off the end of the bat. I think that was a good pitch. Sometimes, you know, in this spot, a hit is what kills you. A fly ball, you got to live with it. So 88.6, that's a good pitch. His cutter's a good pitch. This one doesn't have as much lift, but considering his angle and everything, I think he could throw front door cutters to righties too. He could flood them away with some stuff and then front door cutter them for freeze, potentially. All right, next up is Randy. Cutter again. Again, though, another pull. If I'm Sanger, I cannot be setting up middle anymore or middle away. I need to get my glove target into this lane so that he can, especially with cutter and fastball, so he can get them, you know, into so he can get them into the strike zone. Why would a balk not be called if you switch between slide step and leg kick? Unfamiliar with this part. It's not a balk. As long as you come set, your delivery can be varied. There's no need to have it be perfectly consistent every time. As long as you come stopped or out of the windup, you can do whatever you want. So, you can totally do that. Tommy Canley would like a word about throwing the same pitch over and over. Yeah, but if you ask Tommy, he thinks that at times he overdid it with the changeup, and that's when he would become vulnerable. So, you know, you can do it to some extent, but again, like, it's harder. It's harder to succeed with the one pitch over and over again. These guys are good. All right, now he's going to get Randy out with another cutter away. Actually, a pretty good swing, but right at Ewing on a line. So he gets through the 4th inning. 2 walks in there. Stuff looked okay. I do think he should be leaning more on the changeup. All right, next inning, Luke Raley. There's a good plane on the fastball. So that's what he wants his fastball to look like out of hand. He doesn't want it to be pulled inside. He wants to be able to drive that ball straight through like that, and that's going to play. That's the pitch. All right, change up here. That's a strike. I'm sticking with the changeups quite often if I'm Jonah, especially versus the lefties. Change up there. You can see they're staying on fastball timing, and then you can go fastball up above the zone. Perfect. So that was probably his best sequence, I would say, of the entire game. Let's watch it again really fast. 4-seam stays true. Top of the zone, gets the swing and miss. Goes to the changeup. Gets the high strike. See, this ball popped above zone, like it was headed above zone, and then nestles back in the zone. So that's kind of a good pitch for a take. And now there's a lot of confusion at the top for Raley. So now he tries to go low for the changeup to get the chase. Doesn't quite hit with it, but you can see that the batter it would have worked. He was off timing, and now you got his attention down. Now you go back up for the swing and miss in the area he's confused about, and it's a little bit faster, and that ball had 18 inches on it, and that ball was very true, and that's just a really good pitch from Jonah right there. He should bottle that one up. Great pitch there. All right, next up is Cole Young. Little pulled changeup in for a ball, and now here comes a cutter. 1-0 cutter. And he misses down in, and another play that should have been made and wasn't made. Man, they're having a hard time. Jonah's having a hard time with the defense behind him. This is a basic one-hopper, not hit terribly hard, 81 miles an hour at mark, and he doesn't make the play. So that's going to get a base runner on that he didn't deserve. Should have had 2 up, 2 down so far in this inning. Now it's a first pitch changeup to Canzone, which now you got to think he threw a ton of changeups to Canzone last time. So maybe that was a mistake, but also it produced a pulled ground ball, which I think somebody got earlier in the game, maybe Jonah against Canzone, pulled ground ball through the hole. No, it was Brazaban. He got a hit off Brazaban on a pulled ground ball. And now you have a situation where you're holding on the runner. So a pulled ground ball is not what you want because you have much more space here. Now you want the ground ball to be more towards the middle of the field. So if anything, you should be thinking, you know, don't do anything to get the rollover. But they don't do that. They throw the changeup, and the rollover works. So, I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate because it's a slow, weak contact, but it's also not necessarily pitching to your defense. Now you got 2 on. And here's Patrick Wisdom. Cutter away underneath that, fouled off. And then cutter again. And another squibber. This time Semion's able to make the play. So it gets the 2nd and 3rd. 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Johnny Pereda. Now, if you remember the last at-bat, some poor pitch choices to Pereda had him on fastball timing. Curveball or changeup would have been ideal, but ends up throwing him a fastball down the middle for a line drive single. So he goes cutter, cutter, changeup. Now, if you want to throw a fastball up, I'm with it. But he misses down. He was late, so he had him, but he missed down. Now they're trying to correct it. Still misses too far down, in my opinion. Now they're going to try cutter. Still poor location, in my opinion. Now to the changeup after 3 hard pitches. but it's non-competitive. Got to get this ball up. Doesn't get it up, slashes it foul, and now he's going to get beat with this cutter, and this is a backbreaker.
Out to deep left field.
Just cutter down, doesn't get any movement on it, and Parade is all over it. And the other issue with his cutter is it's kind of a fastball speed, and he's been on fastball timing for a while, but they never made him worry about anything up in the zone. So his eyes were all glued middle down, and then this ball just doesn't cut the way that the other ones were. This one had almost no movement on it and ends up in the honey hole for a 3-run pump. Now, he should have been out of this inning with the play by Mark, and none of these runs would have scored, to be fair. But yeah, you can see how he's having a little bit of trouble figuring out how to work through long at-bats at this level. All right, here's Colt Emerson. First pitch fastball goes for the bunt, and Beatty actually can't do anything with it, so it's a hit. So a little bit of a savvy play here by Colt Emerson. He sees Beatty way back here, takes advantage of that, gets it past Jonah, and that's a put-it-in-your-pocket base hit situation. So savvy play by the rookie there. And this is Jonah's last batter. J.P. Crawford, this was his first batter, so he gets to see him 3 times. Changeup pulled foul. Fastball down. And I just think he throws some strikes, but he doesn't really locate within the zone, and I think they have to come up with some better targeting strategies to help him locate these pitches into their optimal areas. Good swing there, but that's going to be off the end. To end the 5th on the changeup. 91 miles an hour, got it off the end. So that's it for Jonah. I mean, look, I like some of the changes they've made because now he's got a much better cutter. And I think that the changeup's got better movement on it, and it hasn't really muted the ability of his fastball to play. But we need to make an adjustment on the misses he's making on pull side. You know, pulling his fastballs a lot. They should lean more on changeup, to be honest with you, because it's a pretty dang good pitch. And then figuring out the right lanes for the cutter and how to keep him away from the danger zones. So there's still a lot to like here. Ultimately, the defense did let him down. He could have easily had a 1-run outing maybe, but he didn't, and he wasn't able to pitch around it, and that's a little bit unfortunate. So we'll see what he looks like in his next outing. And that's really it for Met Talk today. That was 50 minutes of Mets. Still got to look at a bunch of other stuff. So let me get in the chat here, and then we'll go from there. As an MLB pitcher, after consecutive misses in the same spot, wouldn't you know how to adjust? Yes, but that's calling him a major league pitcher is true, but it's not totally true yet because he's not established yet. He's still learning to be a major league pitcher. He's still becoming a major league pitcher. Unfortunately now, guys don't, not fortunately, unfortunately, I kind of wish I was in the modern era so I didn't pitch 500 innings in the minors, but the concept of a one-pitch adjustment, that comes with experience. So you need to have more innings and figure out your own cueing to be able to fix yourself in 1 pitch or 2 pitches max. So usually the 2 fixes are something with your targeting with the catcher. Catcher can help you out, or you just switch pitch types. Like for me, if I'm yanking my fastball or something, I'm going right to my sweeper because that's a different feel. That's going to reset my feel for my fastball. So I'm doing that immediately. But truthfully, you do learn your 1-pitch fixes. Like when I would yank a sinker glove side, I would just try to not move my front shoulder, and then all of a sudden the ball would come back, and I'd have a 1-pitch fix. So he's got to work on his 1-pitch fixes. He'll get there, but this is part of the growing pains. Is the league moving away from 4-seam vert monsters and sacrificing vert for cut in more shapes because fastball percentage is dropping year over year? Yes, I think in general, two comments on this. Number one, it's not as much about vert anymore as it is about the approach angles. So you can achieve a similar approach angle by actually having less active spin, but with a lower arm slot. So you get a little bit lower release height. So you can kind of cheat the vertical approach angles. But now because you have the lower slot and you're more supinated, now you can create more shapes overall, which gives you more options against every type of batter. So I think those are 2 things. And then also to your point, fastball percentage dropping, it's like, why maximize the pitch? You're not going to throw as much. And if we're going to use it as a secondary, let's use it as a secondary. Instead of trying to optimize it perfect, let's make sure we have all of our arsenal as good as it can possibly be as a group. So I think that's the reason for that. How important do you think control is nowadays with guys throwing 102-mile-an-hour frisbees and just nasty stuff? Obviously still big, but I feel like it's less important for success. Still just as important for success, for long-term success. I do think when you have incredible stuff, you can get away with having poor command, but not poor control. You know, you look at Mizorowski, he's a perfect example of this, right? He's just as nasty last year. You know, right in the same range, over 100 on all the time, unbelievable breaking balls, you know, extension, the whole bit. But last year his command wasn't as good, so guys would simply not swing and they would be able to create traffic against him, and now it takes less to beat him. Now that he's pounding the zone, like his control's good, he's throwing strikes, he doesn't have to have great command, he just has to have control over the plate, and that stuff will play. The issue is, for the whole league, Tank the Tortoise, is that the bar to getting to that point where you can just say fuck it with command is so freaking high. Like if you're not pumping 99, 98, 99 plus with nasty shapes, you still do have to locate. You still do have to command. So it's just as important, but not in every case. There are some exceptions like a Mizorowski or like a Chapman or certain guys who can just kind of throw the ball over the plate. And if it's anywhere over the plate, they're probably going to be fine because of their stuff. But I would tell you that that number is not as high as people think. Do pitchers generally prefer pitching from the windup versus the stretch? Is there a significant advantage or is it just a matter of preference? I think it's a feel and a comfort thing. And some guys utilize the windup to create momentum, but most don't. So I'd say that's individual. Cutter really feels to me like the lowest margin for error pitch. That's what I've been saying for a while. But people continue to throw them, and I think there's all this talk of a bridge pitch, but the command factor of that's even more important when there's not as much margin for error. I would agree. Is it tough for the young Mets players coming into a Mets clubhouse, which has changed lots of veterans before the season? Probably not. I mean, probably not. Probably not. Nowadays, it's actually not that hard to be a young player because you're allowed to be yourself. So it's a little bit different than when I was coming up and people were dickheads. All right, give me some more likes, guys. Give me some more likes. It's more about how you create the movement than the movement by itself. So dead zone fastball is tolerable if you have flat approach. Yes. Garrett Cole versus Gavin Williams tonight. That's dope. Maybe I should go to the game. I think I have stuff going on. All right, so that's it. We talked about an hour about the Mets. Speaking of the Yankees, I want to watch Schlittler last night for a moment because he had his second clunker of the season. But and I didn't watch it, but what amazed me was that he had no walks. So this is going to be about Cleveland earning it. In particular, Jose Ramirez had a nice day yesterday with 3 hits, 3 doubles. So I want to watch Schlittler's outing at 76 pitches, 4 1/3, and he gets beat. And I saw some of the comments after the game. Stuff was a tick down. They say, 1 mile an hour down on the 4-seam velocity, about a half a mile an hour on the other pitches. Shape-wise, looks like the cutter shape was a little off. Fastball shape was a little off in the vertical department. And sinker shape as well, actually, about 1 off. So slightly off. Didn't throw as many first pitch strikes as he usually does. But this guy's been so dominant that I'm just curious to see what it looks like when he's not. We have to find out kind of what it means. When he's not dominant, you know, what does that look like? So here we go. Cam Schlittler versus the Guardians. And I'll just do result pitches. So first batter of the game, he's going to get Bazana out with a 4-seamer up. So that's more of what we've been seeing. Bazana did have a great at-bat that I saw later in the game off of Doval that really broke the game open. He's a fun guy to watch. He really competes. So fastball up, popped up. Here is Jose Ramirez. And he's going to get him out with a sinker, although that was a pretty good swing. You always wonder the matchups between these scrappy, contact-oriented teams and a pitcher like him who is always in the strike zone. You always wonder about that. All right, so a 1-2-3 first inning as he's going to get DeLauder out here to end the first. But I will say, a pop-up and 2 decently hit liners to center for that first inning. So it wasn't like a totally filthy dominating first. All right, second inning. It's going to start off with a strikeout to Manzardo, up and away sinker. So 4 up, 4 down. 5 up, 5 down after he gets Angel Martinez out here on a 4-seam. Little check swing up and in. So it's looking like more of the same here early from Cam. Good pick by Ben Rice. the mass hole connection. And he's going to go 6 up, 6 down after this sinker to Schneemann.
So 3-0 to 3-2 to a pop-up and a pop-out.
So 6 up, 6 down.
6 up, 6
I bet you it's second time through the order, they're all over him. Stephen Kwan makes it 7 up, 7 down.
The prestigious watches that Oris put
Cutter down, popped up.
as lucky as we are.
No strikeouts. Yeah, 1 strikeout so far, maybe 2 actually, but okay. And now here we go. Here's the first hit of the day. It's Patrick Bailey on a cutter.
Walked around Detroit with him. Patrick Bailey hits one deep to right center field. Who's going to get
Pretty good swing.
No one. And,
Trent was playing pretty shallow there, and Patrick Bailey's going to chug all the way to third for a 1-out triple here.
Yeah, but the route,
Hit it 1-0-3-5. Yeah, Trent's playing just a little more in the gap, but that ball was hit well. Good swing by Patrick Bailey. Got to a cutter at the top. So 8.7 inches of vert, negative 3.2, and we notice how everything is down just a touch, but this was still a good pitch, so I'll give credit. This is a good swing. So triple there. And now Brian Rocchio is also going to get a hit on a cutter. Or actually, he's going to hit the sac fly.
Grisham will make the catch. Tagging is
So they earn the run by putting the ball in play there. Rocchio does a good job. Patrick Bailey scores off of the sac fly. And we're back to the top of the order. Bazana going to get him out with a fastball. Good swing there by Travis, though. Just didn't quite have enough behind it, but flies it out to Belly. And so 1 run through 3. 1 run through 3. Now we're in that second time through the order spot. All right, Jose Ramirez, 3-2 count, cutter. That's just center cut to Jose Ramirez. He's not going to miss that too often, and he's going to have a leadoff double. Caballero in right field, no Judge, by the way. So leadoff double by Jose Ramirez. He's so good. Good swing, leadoff double. Next up, 3-1 count to DeLauder. 4-seam up, fly out, and Ramirez is going to tag to third. He's going to challenge Trent's arm here. Pretty savvy base running, gets himself to third with 1 out, which is key in baseball. Cam looks something's up with Cam. He doesn't look right. All right, and then DeLauder's going to clip him for the home run. This is the cutter. He misses with it below the zone. The only pitches DeLauder drives are medium speed pitches down in, so this was kind of unlucky because he swings at a ball, but it's also a poor location, and it's also a good credit to DeLauder for swinging it, and it's also short porch, 96. So I actually don't have too much of a problem with anything here, but good job being aggressive against a strike thrower and getting a pitch that you can handle even if it's not a strike and driving it out. So that made it 3-2. You think about it as a hitter in that spot, you're trying to hit a fly ball. So DeLauder accomplished that goal, and it just happened to go over the fence. All right, here's a called strikeout to Angel Martinez on the front door sinker. Nice pitch there. And another strikeout to Schneemann. So I don't think he's pitched poorly at all. I think it was a good swing by Bailey, and I think that was just an unfortunate location to DeLauder because it's not even a strike, but that's kind of what he wants to hit. All right, to the 5th, Kwan's going to get them started in this inning with a down-in 4-seam. Little one-hopper into the outfield there. So good placement off the bat. Probably didn't want to throw that ball in that location, but also good swing by him. And then Patrick Bailey going to get his 2nd hit of the day off of Cam, although this looks like this should have been a double play. Oh, yeah, one hopper right to Ahmed Rosario. Should have been a double play, not a double play. So that stinks. That probably cost him, it definitely cost him 2 outs. Then he goes ahead and hits Rocchio in the hand on the bunt situation. So now it's bases loaded, no outs. And this inning is now a little bit of a mess. A rollover, should have been a double play, hit by pitch. And now you got Bazana, 4-seam foul ball, and then another 4-seam. And he gets the sac fly. So that's going to drive in run number 4 and tie the game. Runners hold, and this is his last batter, is Jose Ramirez. Let's watch this whole last batter, Jose Ramirez. Sinker fouled off. sinker ball. He just didn't, to me, he just didn't look like, I think he looks like maybe he's not feeling good or something. Like sickness-wise. You could just see it in his face. Body language was a little off. He's usually so locked in. And I actually don't think he pitched poorly in this one. I think he probably deserved to give up 1 or 2 runs. And honestly, you got to tip your cap to DeLauder. Now, this is funny because he never throws anything but hard pitches. And he tries one here to Ramirez. And they're trying to get in the dirt. But the mistake here is that he doesn't get in the dirt, and Jose's too good. Dead pull, smokes it down the line. That's going to score more runs. So good job by Jose Ramirez and the Guardians. I mean, look, they put a lot of balls in play. They met aggression with aggression, and they were able to get some good batted ball luck and some poor defense, and they were able to capitalize with some big hits. So that's kind of what it looks like when he's struggling at the moment. I mean, he didn't beat himself. He threw strikes, no walks, didn't dictate every at-bat, but to me, just was a little bit off this game. Didn't look quite like himself, and he matched up against a team who's a tough matchup, you know? He didn't face a single righty in this game. It was all lefties, so the approach becomes a little more predictable when you're doing it over and over and over again to every lefty, and they did a good job putting balls in play, and they hit a lot of balls on a line, and they hit some sac flies when they needed it. So you give a little credit to Cleveland, and Cam should wipe this clean, and I'm sure he'll come out great his next start. But yeah, wasn't his best game. Probably one of his 2 not dominant performances from the year, which are going to happen. But it seems like the way it kind of happened was by meeting the aggression with the aggression and having the right mixture of contact-oriented hitters in the lineup, in my opinion there. So that's it for Cam Schlittler talk, and now we're probably going to go to Kyle Harrison next. But let me get into the chat piece. If you are on YouTube and you want to get in the chat, if you're on TikTok and you want to get in the chat, come on over to YouTube, my YouTube channel, Adam Ottavino 0 ZERO, and come join the grounds crew and get in the chat and ask me some questions, see what you guys want to see. I'm telling you, AO, when you do the watching, you're going to be amazed by this guy. Bazana just controls the strike zone, and the swing is wow. I've never seen a player so invested as Travis is. He reminds me a lot of Pedroia. That's about as good of a comment as I can give you. That means you come to play, you know, or McGonigal, those guys. We come to play. Schlittler was bound to have a clunker. He's going to have a few. Everyone does. He was finishing the year with a sub-2 ERA. Yeah, but that's why it's important to watch both. I just thought it was, you know, an interesting dynamic of the matchup. You know, the all-lefty lineup of Cleveland with the contact versus a Schlittler who's all in the strike zone. So, you know, that's either like a 9-inning shutout or it's kind of what you saw today where they get some balls to fall. DeLauder has had trouble elevating balls for about the last month. He is still hitting the ball very hard, but straight into the ground. Is that just a factor of just being gassed or mechanical things? You know, I haven't watched all his at-bats, so Guardians coverage, so I think I have a hard time giving you a direct answer on this one. But when I watch DeLauder, I mean, the swing mechanics are not typical. He loves pitches down in, and he loves to try to scoop them out to right. But I feel like his swing becomes very flat towards the top, and he can be vulnerable on like hard pitches to hitting him in the ground. Like I think sinker away from him is a good pitch to get him to hit on the ground. So I think he might be seeing some of that. But his swing mechanics are weird in general, so it's hard for me to comment on them without having watched it over and over and over again recently. Yeah, just like Petey, just in terms of demeanor. Like, I'm here to play. I'm here to compete. I don't care who's on the mound. I think I'm going to rake them. That type of thing. Some guys only throw cutters to opposite hand and sinker to same hand due to how they move towards the barrel. What makes a pitcher like Schlittler able to throw both to both hands? This thought process, Cameron, great question. This thought process has been evolving a little bit because now we have more swing data, right? If a batter is scoopy with their swing, you know, high number attack angle, high number swing tilt angle, then they are ripe for four-seamers, right? Because now they have to flatten out to get to a four-seam, but they're scoopy, so you're going to get above that. If a guy's more flat and choppy, the pitches with downward angle, sinkers, changeups, you're going to chop those into the ground a lot. So sometimes that can be a right versus a left. Like if I'm trying to give you a good example. Juan Soto's a good example. He's very flat. You can get him on the ground. That's an option. Sinker's not a bad pitch to a guy like Juan Soto, right versus left. But to your point, Schlittler can kind of do it mainly because of the velocity and like he's throwing so many four-seamers that they can kind of sense when whoever the batter is starts to adjust their bat path to meet that four-seam shape, and then they mess with that by going to a sinker shape. So you think you're hitting a four-seam, but now you're hitting the top of it. So they're just waiting for the right opportunities. And then also he likes to throw that front door sinker to the left-handed batter, where it starts as a ball and ends as a strike. So the idea there is they're not swinging, so it doesn't matter the shape anyway in terms of to keep you off the barrel. The effect is more for the called strike. So what's this mean? My comment was on the screen so long. I don't know. Sometimes I just leave it clicked up there. Do you ever think about how much baseball you've played, watched? Yeah, sometimes. A lot. A lot. All right, good questions there. Let's go watch a dominating appearance last night. And this guy's been on an absolute burner. And I don't think it's stopping right now because this is a man who's pitching with full confidence. And it's fun to watch when a guy really reaches that point. Now, where the heck are the Milwaukee Brewers? Here they are. And he got to do it against his original team. So this was a little bit of a revenge game for Mr. Kyle Harrison. Originally a Giant, huge Giants prospect, calls up with the Giants, been traded twice now. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, and a home run. The big change that the Brewers have done is they moved him over to the first base side, creating a horizontal approach angle that's, I believe, pretty outlier, which I can confirm. You know, do I have my app open on my computer? Let's see. I do. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to look at Kyle Harrison. I'm going to tell you what his VAA is right now on his fastball. All right. Currently, he is averaging VAA negative 3.9 degrees. That's extremely uphill and flat. But he's also created a 1.5 degree horizontal approach angle on his fastball. And then on the slurve, he is 75th percentile on slurve VAA. So it's kind of the opposite effect, one that goes up, one that has pretty good depth to it. But the HAA, and I'll show you this when we watch the video, the HAA is pretty consistently going from left to right. And so I think it hides it really, really well. And I think that's why the hitters are having a hard time differentiating. Anyway, in this game versus his old club, again, 5 2/3 with 12 strikeouts. Let's look at the breakdown. He has thrown an incredible amount of fastballs. In a league where nobody's throwing fastballs at this level, he is. And I think it ain't broke, so don't fix it. 67 fastballs last night, 33 slurves, and only 6 changeups. So he's basically a 2-pitch pitcher with a little bit of changeup. He got 38% whiff on both fastball and slurve, through 65% first pitch strikes. And he's just going to dominate guys with these upshoot, really flat approach angle four-seamers. All right, so let's watch how he got his outs. Brewers and Giants, a little bit of a revenge game. You trade me? How dare you trade me? All right, Casey Schmidt. I bet these guys are buddies. He's going to punch him out with a slurve to open the game. Backdoor dot. Nice pitch. Backdoor dot.
3-2. That's strike 3.
1 out. Next up, 10-pitch at-bat. Going to finish on a strikeout of Devers with the four-seamer. And he's going to get takes on low four-seamers because they're all so geared on watching his four-seam from the top. But it's also his velo has been great this year, too. I mean, 96.6. Throwing hard is good. 2 batters, 2 punchies. Here's a hit from Arise. Not an easy guy to punch out. Did have him 1-2. Goes to the slurve. And Luis is able to get the hands there and flick it into right for a double. I doubt he gets a triple out of this, but maybe. Oh, he's going. Nice. Luis Arise with a triple, a little poke triple, which brings up Willie Adames. He's going to walk him, even though that was a strike. So now he's got first and third, 2 outs on the first, and he's going to get a 1-pitch out of Matt Chapman to get out of the first inning. Just a fastball middle away. He's way underneath that. Pops it up to right. Sal Frelick is there. First inning is over. Second inning. Kennedy at the dish here. Little backdoor slurve popped up. Bryce Terang is there. 1 out in the second. Now a first pitch hit from Susak. Good job by Susak getting on top of that fastball. Not easy to do. Base hit. And Bericotto is going to punch out with a fastball up above the zone. That's the pitch that he's been dominating everybody with, is just how flat and uphill this fastball is. And a huge part of it, we talked about it already a bunch, but it's how low he gets with that lower half. I mean, you see the amount of knee, how close the knee is to the ground. So it's not just an arm angle thing. It's like how low his whole body gets. So then he's in position to kind of upshoot this ball. I feel like that's a pretty good way to look at it too. You see just how low he is here. You know, most guys don't have that degree of bend in their knees. Like this knee is too close to the, very close to the dirt, but also this angle here. Most guys are already much more straightened out, looking to snap into place on that lead leg block, but that's not what Kyle Harrison does. His lead leg block, believe it or not, takes place in his hip. His hip is what's stopping him there. So there's multiple ways to do this, but, oh, there's my guy Shane Robinson, Sugar Shane. But anyway, big time pitch there for the strikeout. Next up is Cox. So there's a whole bunch of dudes on the Giants right now that I've never heard of. And Cox gets blown away by that fastball. So that's it for the second inning. Third inning, another strikeout coming here. This is second time through. Casey Schmidt strikes out on a slurve for a second time. Rafael Devers is going to punch out looking for a second time. 96-8 away. Man, that ball shaves the corner. That's a perfect dot from Harrison. Nice pitch there. And then there's that high elevated heater to a rise. Not an easy guy to punch out, but that's how good the fastball is right now. Doors. All right, fourth inning. In play, no outs to Willie Adames. He actually gets on top of that heater and sprays it the other way, but it's weak contact. Not hard hit, but it's a base hit. Leadoff man on, and then he's going to keep striking guys out. Four seam to Chapman. Anything down, they're taking. I love that more guys are utilizing the bottom of the zone with their high riding four seamers now for takes. All right, another swinging strikeout here to Kennedy. Ooh, perfect pitch there. Oh, haircut boy.
Hashtag new haircut boy.
You want to show off your haircut? Here, I got her. I got him. Let me.
Okay, let's go.
Let go, Oaks. Oh, he doesn't want to show it off. Okay, well, Archer got a new haircut. So, you look good. Anyway, back to this pitch. This is such a perfect location up and in. He misses that by a huge gap. As you can see, look at that. Bat's here. Ball's nowhere close to that. I did not. I did not show everybody the new pins yet. That's a cool shot above the field. Anyway, strikeout there for the second out of the fourth, and then he's going to have a three-pitch strikeout of Susak to get out of the fourth. So punches out the side in the fourth. His strikeout ability is really, really good right now. All right, fifth inning. Ooh, that is fancy. New tissue paper. New baseball and coffee tissue paper for the deliveries when you guys buy something. Very nice. All right, gets the first out there. Here is another three-pitch strikeout. This is on a slurve to Cox. So he got thoroughly dominated both of his at-bats versus Harrison. And then he's going to get another out here versus Casey Smith. So now he's here for the third time through. Schmidt doesn't strike out this time, but he's thoroughly beat by that fastball again. Flies it out to left. All right, next up for the sixth inning, another strikeout of Devers. So he gets Devers three times on fastballs, twice looking, and then this one's the one above the zone. If you have a great fastball left on left, you can face Rafi. It's brutal, and he's still sitting 96. Now a first pitch out from Arise. Ooh, Arise with a very rare first pitch swing. We've talked a lot about how he never swings at the first pitch. But he does at the slurve here and gets himself out. Here is the one run. It is Willie Adames homering in his former stomping grounds of Milwaukee. What's the difference on this fastball? It just doesn't get elevated. It's kind of right down the middle. That's the only difference here. Good swing by Willie. Gets them on the board. But other than that, Harrison's still rolling. This is going to be his last batter. It looks like he ran out of gas here a little bit as he walks Chapman, and then they go ahead and get him out of there. But needless to say, you know, he's been incredible. Him and Mizorowski as a combo, hard to overstate just how dominating that is. But here's my little breakdown on the difference between his fastball and his slurve. Hold on. All right. So here's the plane on the fastball. So this is the release action right here. And let's track it. Straight up with movement, right? So that's the four seam. You see it, right? Left to right action, kind of headed uphill. And then here's a slurve. Same up action, but then it reverses course about midway through and hits the deck. So it's all about this first section right here. This first section right here that I'm putting in red now, where the ball immediately looks like it's coming up out of the hand. And I think that's the biggest issue. And they're both on the same exact angle, moving left to right. And I think that's the magic trick here. So you think you're getting a fastball maybe for the first millisecond out of the hand, and then that ball's down. And then on top of that, that ball's so flat that you have to be really extra quick to meet it at the top of the zone, which guys just haven't been able to do yet. And then on top of that, when the ball's not on that trajectory out of the hand, they're letting it go because they think it's something low, and then he's freezing you at the bottom. So if you want to pitch with two pitches, this is kind of how you would do it. But really good adjustment by the Brewers. It continues to be an amazing adjustment by the Brewers. Yes, Carl, here is your side angles. That's first base, and here's third base. It's also funny, you see the arm recoil? Like when I was young, they used to coach this out of me. They coach this recoil out of me quite a bit, this move at the arm he just does right there. But I think it's a very safe and healthy deceleration pattern, to be honest with you. So I'm glad that we've stopped coaching people out of that a lot. But man, Kyle Harrison has been a revelation. Him and Mizorowski combined are really the reason why the Brewers have the separation in the division for me right now. I also think he gets some pretty good spin mirroring on his fastball and slurve. You know, one pitch is backspin, one pitch is topspin. They're moving along that same diagonal axis there off the arm slot, the 33-degree arm angle. And to me, you know, it's just really, you see that line I'm talking about? It's just really tough to choose between those two pitches, and plus that his velocity's up and he's pounding the zone. I don't know if he can do this for the whole year, but he's absolutely one of the top, you know, 6 or 7 National League pitchers this year. And we've already talked a lot about the NL Cy Young race and how crowded it is. He's obviously behind his teammate Mizorowski, but not by much. I think he might have the better ERA. So he's at 1.57 through 57 innings. And let's see what Miz is. 1.57, 75 innings. Miz is 1.65 through 71 innings, but already has 108 punchies and a lower whip. These two guys have been awesome. Really, really awesome. And it's really that simple. The NL Cy convo is really just too deep. Yeah, at the moment, but there's like 6 or 7 circling. You know, Shohei, Skeens could get back in it. This guy, you know, Chase Burns, a bunch of guys are circling. I would agree right now, though. Probably Sanchez and Sale, right? Or Mizorowski, Sanchez and Miz and Sale, those 3. Basically, the Brewer organization is the polar opposite of the Giants. Can the Kyle delivery be taught? Would you teach it? Yeah, it can be taught. 100%. It's basically based around being comfortable with a long stride and trusting that lead leg and not being so worried about that stiff lead leg block, more leaning into your hip action. It's just about training a long stride. The way you would train it is spread a pitcher out really long and have him throw out of the stride already established. So you get comfortable in that, in that long stance and kind of being low. In the old days, in my Northeastern days, I used to throw sort of similar to this. And yes, the ball played up really well at the top of the zone, but it took away from my ability to get over pitches. So I split the difference, but you can see for Harrison why it works so well. But it's also why he only has 2, maybe 3-ish pitches, because he doesn't have the leverage to create everything. But he's got a leverage to create a dynamic 2-pitch combo. All right, what else we got? Did we go over Logan Gilbert yet? No, but we watched him face Carson Benge a little bit. We talked a little bit of Logan Gilbert through that segment. How much does a typical scouting report approach factor into the stadium dimensions? It doesn't come up much in scouting. They almost never talk about it, but pitchers who make those ballparks their home, like I did with Yankee Stadium or Fenway, where it's obvious you want to keep a guy to one side of the field or the other, you start to lean that direction in some critical decision-making moments. Just make them hit it to the bigger part of the field. Don't get beat by the short fence. But they almost never, ever talk about it in scouting reports. Was keeping Tolle in early and trading Harrison the best move for the Sox? You can't possibly think trading Harrison was a good idea for the Sox. But I like Tolle in early as well. I've said, and I know that I'm looking wrong right now, but I would have traded Tolle for like a Ketel Marte if I was Breslow. But that would have been me. I think Tolle's great. I struggle to see how he's going to be consistent when he's so reliant on being guns blazing all the time. But he is certifiably nasty when he is guns blazing. So it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But I've always believed in Harrison to some extent. I felt like they kind of... Obviously, you had to give up something to get Durbin. It's not like Durbin was a nothing player when they traded for him. But... you see what I'm saying here. There's a little bit of a, it's a little questionable. All right, let's watch Pete Alonso hit. He's next. He faced the Red Sox last night. His season's starting to come around. Orioles playing a little better right now. Pete went 2 for 4. He's up to 769 OPS. Hit a home run. It's got 12 now on the season. Expected numbers starting to look good. What's interesting to me is that the defense has looked good, which kind of makes it look not as good, on the Mets' whole, he can't play first base argument, which I think it was honestly probably pretty fair, but credit to Pete. He works his tail off out there. He always has, but he really cares a lot about his defense. And so far, the metrics look good in terms of the StatCast metrics, at least. Offensively, I think so far he's putting together a pretty nice year, and he's just starting to get hot. These are typical good numbers. 99th percentile average exit velo. Let's go, Pete. And, there was a stretch this year where it looked like his setup was a little weird, but he's been a lot better lately. And just check out the burner he's on right now. Going back to, I don't know, let's say this 3-hit day on the 25th. 3 hits, no hits, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 2. So 2 hits in each of 2 hits in his last 2 games. And he did have an 840 OPS in May, so trending nicely. Let's watch Pete's at-bats versus the Red Sox yesterday. Also, he loves playing in Fenway Park. This is another guy that I thought Boston was going to be in on. I thought he would have been a great fit for the Sox in that ballpark, but it didn't work out. All right, here we go. Connolly Early's going to get him on 3 pitches this first at-bat. Connolly Early's my guy for the Red Sox. Huge fan of Connolly. I believe he'll be a pitcher for a long time in this league. Anyway, fastball up, fastball in. Pete is wrong about that, so it goes to 0-2. What'd you say?
Play tennis.
You're going to go play tennis? You look fantastic. For Quaker Ridge?
Yeah, let's go.
And swinging strike 3. So 3 fastballs to Pete. Very similar to Kyle Harrison here. On the same side of the rubber, creating a little bit of that left to right, uphill angle with good velocity. Kind of similar, although his VAA is not Kyle Harrison level, I don't believe. Let me do a check on that on my app that you can't see yet, which you'll see hopefully soon. What is Connolly Early's VAA versus right-handers? Let's see. He is negative 4.4 VAA. That's the versus lefties. Versus righties, yeah, negative 4.4, 82nd percentile on the VAA on this uphill angle that Pete swings through here. So also very good, 81st percentile. So 81st percentile level of flat at the top of the zone. Very, very effective for the first strikeout. But guess what? Big Pete wasn't done after that. He flushed that at-bat right away, and he comes back with a very strong at-bat here, which ends in a 2-run home run and creates the lead for the Orioles. So changeup away, sinker away. This is what I've been saying since last year, Jody, that you can say what you want about Pete, but just stamp it. He's going to have 30-plus homers and close to 100 RBIs every single season, and that's valuable. I don't care. I don't care. It's just straight up valuable. It is. Curveball down, fouled off, and then he's going to clip him on a changeup. And Pete's one of the best in the game at riding out soft pitches that don't make it below the zone and catching them out front. He's got an incredibly mobile lower half. He hits this ball at 111 at 23. That's a dangerous object heading towards the people in the monster seats. And this is just a Pete Alonso special. It's no thinking. It's see the ball, hit the ball, but I'm able to adjust my body in the moment and reach balls that other guys can't, and then my hands are just silly with power. So, love watching Pete. And this is why. This is a unique ability. Don't get it twisted. That right there. How long he gets extended through those low pitches. That is a hallmark of Pete. Look how far out front he catches this ball. It's beautiful. Beautiful swing by Pete, and gets his team the lead in this game. Very nice. All right, next at bat. Still versus early. So he's got a strikeout on a fastball up, a home run on a changeup. So they go heater, down, strike, even though that's a ball, but he's kind of out of challenging for today. And then another heater up in. They don't get it to up in. Actually, it's a good swing, drops the head on it, just happens to hit it out to center. Didn't quite get it, so gets out that time. And then he's going to get his last at-bat versus Samaniego, another lefty. So gets all lefties in this game, in which he goes 2 for 4.
Before becoming a star with the New York Mets.
Don't know if I'll ever really get over Stearns being too much of a nerd to bringing back Alonso.
He's been a plus defender over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, Pete belonged in the Met uniform forever, but I know that's not how the analytical guys think at times. All right, 2-2 sinker here, and this time he takes his hit to right, utilizing the defensive orientation to his advantage here. Got a runner getting held on at first. Second baseman kicked way up the middle. You're down 2 strikes. This is awfully inviting right here, is it not? Pete does a good job of seeing that and taking his hit. So ends up going 2 for 4. Was right in the thick of things in terms of the runs that they needed to get the scoring done. And he's trending really well. He's trending really well, and it's good to see. And it's good news for the Orioles because really they do need Pete. I mean, every team needs a hot Pete to kind of carry them at some point when you have him on the club. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. But if you want to look at something crazy, I mean, his exit velocity, 95.2 right now, is unbelievable. That would be a PR. So he's consistently hitting the absolute tar out of the ball. So a lot of people that were doom and gloom early in the year from Pete, I think it's just not true, you know? I think it's just not true. And as you can see, he's on that upward trajectory this season. So good news. Good news for the Orioles who are trying to get back in this thing, and they have played a little better lately. All right, back in the chat. One of Pete's biggest attributes is he's available game in and game out. Could not have said it better myself. He posts him, Matt Olson. There's a number of guys in this league that play every day. Hard to understand how valuable that is, but it is extremely valuable. You know, pitching, it might be even more valuable if you're a guy who never gets hurt, but also as the first baseman, as that steady presence in the lineup, who can do damage like him. Just the more at-bats you get, the more chances he's going to get to change baseball games. And it is true, at least Pete got paid. Is Adley going to get traded? So I don't know. I mean, maybe the Orioles can stay in this thing. I did see some reporting from Joel Sherman, my guy from New York Post, recently about Yankees. They're going to want Adley. I don't know if I see that trade going down, but we'll see. You got to check out Samuel Basallo. He's been the best hitter in MLB since April 20th at 21 in his rookie season. So this guy's one of my favorite players in the league already. I saw his swing last year, and I said, I'm all in on this guy right away. He's a moose. He controls the zone, and he has donkey power, and I love his swing. And you're absolutely right. He's been trending. Holy cow. He's now at 9 home runs and 181 RBIs, 852 OPS, and he started like he had a really bad stretch to start the season. So, yeah, Basallo. I don't have time to watch like all of his at-bats, but if you want to do a quick breakdown of his homers, we'll go from Abo to pull side. We can do that. Here's all Basallo's homers. And he's got enough power to go out to any part of the field, which is why I believe in this guy being like literally like a James Wood, Nick Kurtz level hitter. Like I think he's going to be that good. So there's an Oppo Taco on a breaking ball. Here's another Oppo Taco. This one is going to probably be on a sinker. Yeah, that ball's just smacked off of Hauser right at those umbrellas. Patakaye. Now we're going to go to center field with 2 nukes to center. This one's off of Nasty Nate. Look at that swing. Perfectly on balance. Honestly, he's got kind of a right-handed swing for a left-handed batter with the scissoring action of the lower half. And no desire to get running towards first base. You see, he goes from open to closed, and you see the weight. He steps over the plate with that foot. That move right there signifies where his weight energy is, which is back over the plate. Most lefties are naturally pulling out towards first base because of that subconscious desire to start running. And that's kind of what it is. Here's another pump to center. This one's off of Merrill Kelly. Same deal. I mean, he's not over-rotating at all. I think he's got one of the best young swings in the game. Couldn't be higher on Mr. Basallo. Now, this is a stud right here. He's their only all-American white boy-looking prospect that they have, since every single other guy looks the same. There's one to right center. Can't throw a medium-speed pitch down. Here's another one to right center. This one's off of Bayo. Waits on that breaking ball, hammers that. I love his two-hand recoil finish. Super sick. And then we have 3 more, and they're all pull sides. These ones are going to be really creamed. Here's off of Schultens. Change up down, scooped out of there. See you later. That was nice. And last 2. This one's off of, who's this, Cavalli? And Cavalli's got a great curveball. Hammers that into the Nats bullpen. You see the consistency of the swing and the balance that he possesses. Very good attribute. And then left on left versus early. So, love this dude. You don't hear a lot about him, but love this dude. I don't know if he's ever going to play defense, if they're going to let him catch it all or whatever, but definitely love this dude. Thanks for the comment, Lord Baby. Got you. All right, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. If any of the new watchers aren't aware, AO had Pete on a show a few months ago. YouTube will have it. I'm also going to try to get Pete back on soon now that he's playing well, and we'll get him back on. I am working on some guests. It sucks because like Friday I'm going to have to move the show a little bit because I have like a go to a speaking engagement at a Danbury Westerners NECBL team thing on Friday morning, so I'll probably do Baseball After Dark, but I have 2 guests we're working on that should be exciting, and we have some things coming. I don't think Adley's washed. I don't think so at all. I think he's dealing with the ups and downs of being a big leaguer, but I don't think he's washed at all. 930 OPS in May. Started off with a 450 OPS in early April on Basallo. So good. Sammy B reminds me a lot of Pedro Alvarez a couple years back with tons of true pop. They do have similar finishes, and they're a little bit different. I like Sam's swing. It's a little bit better than Pedro's, and I love Pedro. We grew up playing together, so you know, I love them both, but I think Basallo's a little more under control. Any thoughts on Jackson Holiday? Still love him as a prospect. I know he had the handmade thing. We're going to give him a little time, and then we'll do a little bit of more watching of Jackson. Still like him as a prospect, but obviously he's young, and it's gotten off to a not a great go this year so far. All right, it's time for Gage Jump. If Victoria's still around, she'll be excited. Gage Jump's second career start was for the A's last night. We'll also sneak a look at my guy Nick Kurtz in this one. Gage Jump goes 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts on 85 pitches versus the Cubs offense. So he deserved to get looked at today. Let's look at the pitch mix. We did look at his debut last week. 39 four-seamers averaging 97. That's a mile an hour up from the first start. That's gas, even though he didn't get any whiff on that. 21 sliders, 12 curveballs, 8 changeups, 5 sweepers. He's got a natural bit of deception in his delivery, which you'll see here in a minute. Although, interestingly, he pitched a great game here with no whiff. So this is a contact-out game. Only gave up 3 hard hits the whole game through 72% strikes and first-pitch strikes. So this is going to be a quick one, as we're just going to look at the results. But let's see how he got his outs, and they do look to be fairly weak. So it's a combination of deception and stuff here from the left-hander that seems to have really played in this game versus the A's. So here we go. Gage Jump, big-time prospect for the A's second career game. And Nico Horner is going to start off this game with a base hit through the hole. So first batter gets on with a hit, and that brings up PCA, who's also going to get on base. This is a 99-mile-an-hour fastball that's kind of chinked into left. Man, just looking at Wrigley right now, I'm so excited because I just got the word that I'm going to be doing a game, Detroit versus Cubs, for ESPN in the booth on July 22nd at Wrigley. It's one of my favorite places on earth, so if you want to see a happy Ottavino, I'll be happy that day. Base hit to left. PCA does an amazing job finding a way to get to second on this throw. And they get second and third, no outs in the first, so he's jacked. Oh, wow. What was that about? He's yelling at the left fielder here. You... something, and there's an F-bomb right there. So he's like almost disrespected by the fact that they didn't throw the ball to second. But there's definitely something there, huh? All right, so second and third, no outs in the first. And here is Bregman. He's going to get them on the board on a ground ball with the infield back. So the run scores, but he hits it to third, so PCA can't move to third. 1-0 Cubs, and then he doesn't give up anything the rest of the way. Here's a 99-mile-an-hour strikeout to Seiya up in the zone to finish the first inning. There was also, they must have got an out somewhere along the way on the bases here. Yeah, right here maybe. First pitch, they try to steal third. Bangaliers throw him out. Oh yeah, Bangaliers throws out PCA stealing. So they get their revenge on him. Baseball gods were watching right away. He strikes out, and then he punches out Seiya with this 99 up in the zone heater with the short arm stroke. We've talked about Gage. First time we watched him with this arm action that he's got, and I got to believe that there's a little bit of deception with them not seeing the ball here. Look how tight that is to the body, but he does get it up. He's got a ton of his center of mass is moving very fast as he delivers to the plate. And he blows away Seiya there with 99 up. All right, second inning, he's going to pitch good the rest of the game here. Hit by pitch, well, I say that. And then he hits Ian Happ with an 0-2 curveball down. He's going to get an out of Carson Kelly on a fastball up in that just barely beats him. Little fly out to center. And another hit. So they actually put some pressure on him here early. Michael Bush on a sweeper drops it in front of Cortez there. So first and second, 1 out. And then it is Alcantara, who just got called back up, I believe. Ground ball to short. They'll get the 1 out there. McNeil fires it over to first. So first and third, 2 outs. Ooh, and then I guess it's going to be a caught stealing. It is. It's a caught stealing to end the inning. McNeil gets to him before the run scores. Let's take a look at that. Where was the third base runner here when McNeil makes the tag? He's busting it home. Got him. Yep, got him before the run scored. Great job by Jeff there. Very smart by Jeff. He knew he had to get there quick. And he did it. He's a very heads-up player. Great play by McNeil. Give him credit for that. Run does not score. All right, third inning. Dansby going to get him out with a four-seam in. So you see the plan versus righties is pound them in with that plus fastball he's got. And get some flyouts and some groundouts. Fly out there. Back to the top of the order. He's going to walk Nico. So Nico got a hit and a walk so far. Here's Bregman. Actually, no, it's PCA now. First pitch slider. Gets under that. Just misses it. 105, but at 40. Just got under that. That was a good approach by PCA to get on that slider, but just misses it. Gets it out there. And now Bregman. 0-2 to curveball. Swings above the zone at a bad pitch. Pops it up. And that's going to be it for the third inning. So fairly clean third inning. Minus hitting Nico. Fourth inning, Seiya Suzuki. That's a hanging slider, but doesn't get punished. Pops it up to the squirrel. One out there. Called strike three coming here. Still throwing 98 here in the fourth. Freezes Ian Happ down with the fastball. Nice pitch. And he's going to get Carson Kelly out here with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up and away. Although that was a good swing, but lined right at McNeil. So 1, 2, 3, fourth inning. Fifth inning. 0-2 to Michael Bush. Curveball. Good pitch. Runs out of bat. Rolls it over to Jeff. Again, Jeff's been active. One out in the fifth. Next up, Alcantara. Changeup. First pitch changeup away. So getting some very nice one-pitch action here for an easy out there. And then he's going to strike out Dansby with a slider to end. Ooh, really good pitch there. Down in for the chase to end the fifth. It's got good velo on that slider, too. I like it. 86. Good tilt. Dansby can't quite get the bat to that. Nice pitch. Would I rather have Langoliers or Olsen? That's a really tough question. So I think catcher is the most important position in the game, so I'm tempted to lean Langoliers on that question. But, I mean, it's hard to go against Olsen, too, though. I'm going to pick Langoliers, even though that's tough. All right, fastball up and in. But I guess at the moment, I would have made the trade for Olsen, too. Like, you don't know what Langoliers is going to be. So great job of scouting by the A's, I guess, there to get really great value out of Matt Olsen. But, yeah, I think Langoliers, I mean, shit, I don't know. I'm pretty high on elite catchers, and he's elite. Little fly out there on the up and in fastball. All right, PCA for the third time and gets him out twice on first pitches. That's right down the middle, pops him up, still throwing 97.5. These kids just throw so hard right now. So that was nice, and then he's going to get Bregman out here on 95.5. Up away is actually a good swing, but right at Cortez. So another clean inning in the sixth. And then in the seventh inning, using the sweeper, which we haven't seen yet, to Seiya for the backdoor strikeout. That was nice. Big key in this game was he had a huge first pitch strike rate, so we finally got to see him dictate some at-bats and utilize the full arsenal, and really, he was feeling it here in the seventh. One sweeper strikeout for a called strike three, then this curveball gets the swing over the top. It's beautiful. And then a one-pitch out on Carson Kelly to end his outing on a get-me-over slider. So Cubs offense probably pressing a little bit at the moment, but you got to give credit to Gage Jump. First career W, I think. And first career dominating start in Wrigley. Had to feel good. He's got impressive velocity. I like his slider and curveball. I like both of his breaking balls. So this is what the A's need. They're going to need him. They're going to need Jaime Arnold, who by coincidence threw a tremendously great game in AAA last night. They're going to need him to come up and be good to kind of have something to match with their, with their awesome young offense. Hold on, I'm just trying to see something real quick. Double A from last night. I'm looking for Midland. Wonder if we get any, if we can get a look at Jaime Arnold. I know he pitched last night and pitched really well. Yeah, we got a little bit of Jaime Arnold here. So let's just give you a couple quick. He pitched 7 scoreless last night. He's out of Florida State. Huge draft pick, weird arm slot. Definitely gonna play up in the big leagues. So let's give you a 2-second look at big time pitching prospect for the A's, Jaime Arnold. That was a strikeout there. This was his start from AA last night. He's gonna get a fly out here. You see that delivery, super unique. Low arm slot, very long, gangly type of dude. I do feel like he's got a VAA, HAA combo as well, a la Kyle Harrison, but I guess we'll have to watch when he gets to the actual big leagues and we get a video on him. But I think he might get up by the end of the year. Big difference here is he's on the third base side, so it's not as extreme, but still something. He's got those really long arms. So that was his first inning. Here's his second inning. He's going to get a fly out here. You can see that fastball's playing up in the zone. Here's a ground out. I'm not going to watch this whole outing, but figure we watch him a little bit. So you get a little bit of a sense of his delivery. Here's a strikeout, and then we'll take a look at it from the side if we can get that. I don't know if we can get it or not. Nasty little sweeper looking breaking ball there. I guess I can't get the different angles in AA. They only had the broadcast. But anyway, that's Jaime Arnold. I felt like it'd be fun to take a quick look at him. Let me hop back in the chat. I think we're going to do some prospects next. We got 3 draft prospects to potentially look at. Aaron Nola was another one I could maybe cover. Oh, there's also this Jase Bowen who made his debut last night and got kind of dominated by the Phillies. We could maybe watch him. He was a little jumpy at the plate. So let's go Jase Bowen. Quick look at Nola. 3 prospects, and then we're on out of here. So Jase Bowen made his debut last night for the Padres. Here it is. Jase Bowen, the 24th overall pick. 24th prospect of the Padres. I mean, not a huge name coming up. I don't think he's even a top prospect. But he had one of those games where I was just like, man, this guy came up trying to swing the bat. He was the 23rd ranked prospect for the Padres. What were his numbers in El Paso before getting called up? He was hitting .292 with a 600 slug. Holy cow. He had 13 home runs already in AAA with 11 doubles and 5 triples. That's insane. So doing damage at the AAA level, but then he ran into some buzzsaws Phillies in this Phillies-Padres game last night. So let's check that out real quick because that bats are kind of funny because he gets owned. I don't mean to pile on a rookie or whatever, but yeah, he had an interesting day at the plate versus Aaron Nola is the first one. Sinker strike. I guess this might allow me to not watch the whole Aaron Nola outing, but he did have a nice bounce-back start yesterday for the Phillies. I think he actually, in a way, he kind of sets their ceiling for them a little bit because we already know what they have in Sanchez and Wheeler and even Luzardo, but Nola can take him to another level. Here's that knuckle curve, and this was a theme with Bowen chasing off the plate away all night long. I mean, that's not even close. Swing and miss there. Second at-bat for Bowen versus Noah. Curveball away, swing and miss. Really struggling with the breaking balls to the outside corner from what I was watching. There's a perfect backdoor sinker. Great command. I love when Nola's rolling. Nasty. Curveball down, fouled off.
Keep that going.
4-seam up ball. Not going to lie, his prospect savant page suggests some fraudulence. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, El Paso is like playing at Coors Field. There's another breaking ball down, can't hold up on that. I believe he gets a hit, maybe this at-bat, off of Kerkering.
Bowen's 0 for 2, and his first 2 major.
Fastball up. Sweeper down. And sweeper off the plate away. Another chase, but this time he got a hit. Yeah, they called up Bowen out of desperation for sure. And then here's the at-bat versus Duran, which is what really caught my attention. 3 breaking balls in a row. All off the plate. Sweeper away, not even close. Sweeper away even further. And then sweeper away even further. So 3 chases in a row, game over. I know Duran's one of the nastiest pitchers in the league, but this guy came up he was like, I am not going down looking. I am going to swing at everything. And that was what he got in his major league debut. He did get a hit, though, so congrats to the kid, and we'll watch him. I know the Padres are in a little bit of a desperation mode offensively right now. But I wanted to quickly look at him because he came into the picture last night, and obviously that at-bat was crazy. Let's look at the Nola start from the analytics at least a little bit. I don't plan on watching it anymore, but he had obviously good command going and pitched really well. And again, I think he sets the pace for this team in terms of how great they can ultimately be and who they can really fire out there in a postseason game, because he does have postseason success and experience. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. It's been a struggle so far, but I do feel like there's good pitching in there. Velocity was up last night, which is key. He averaged 93 with the sinker, 93.4 with the 4-seam. Those are up a lot. That's major for him. If he can be in the 93 range, I start to really believe in Nola again. Curveball, great pitch. He went to it the most. Smart. Overall, it's about him dictating at bats, though. 68% first pitch strikes. No coincidence he did that and pitched well. So very good to see. But leaning on that knuckle curve, because that's still, to me, his true elite pitch, makes a lot of sense. 11 whiffs on 21 swings last night is great for Aaron Nola. So just wanted to touch on that for a moment. So Bowen and Nola, we looked at that, and that allows me now to go ahead and look at the 3 prospects I want to look at for the draft. Let me get in the chat real quick, and then we'll look at those, and then that's going to be it for today. Off the topic of the game, but on topic with the catchers, do you think we'll see Ben Rice get some reps at catcher with Wells struggling? Maybe, but I don't think they want to get in the way of what he's been doing well. They want to lean into what he's been doing well. I saw Drake. Also, the Braves have come out in roses in general because they do have Drake Ball doing good points. So I see people arguing a little bit about who they would want a catcher in the chat. I love Shea, though. I think he's probably holding the belt for best catcher at the moment. But, with Cal Raleigh being a little bit on the downturn at the moment. But Drake Baldwin's right there. Drake Baldwin actually was performing better than Shea before he got hurt. So we'll give him credit for that. Hence the reason why Lackey is the best player in the MLB draft, 1-1. I'm not against it. I am not against it. I know the White Sox have Kyle Teal, but Vaughn Lackey's a beast. Baldwin is a much better defender. Wouldn't trade him for Langoliers. Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily either. Can I break down Jake Bauers? I will at some point, but not today. I did see he's been banging, so at some point I'll get to him. Will Smith is great, but he's kind of overrated because he's on the Dodgers, and then I see people being Specters offended by that, so I get it. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's properly rated. Definitely a top 3 or 4 catcher in the league. But, I mean, to me, I can see it a little bit. He's a little boring at times, but he's really good. He's solid. Really, really good. All right, what else we got? I mentioned in the Discord that I thought Bowen's at-bat versus Duran was the worst of the year. I mean, it was unbelievable how he missed those pitches away, away, away. Goodman also very good. Here's a question, Miz or Sanchez? So I voted for Sanchez for pitcher of the month. I don't feel great about it, but I did because he gave up no runs, and I can't go against that. Miz is more spectacular, but I think Sanchez is the better pitcher right now. So I'm still leaning Sanchez, but Miz is more spectacular, if that makes sense. All right, we're going to shift into prospect watching mode. There's 3 prospects to watch today, and that's going to be it. I know I missed a ton of stuff today, but it's been one of those days where there's almost too much to watch. So here are our 3 prospects for the draft that we want to catch up on today. Logan Schmidt is the first one. Left-handed pitcher. out of high school. So another lefty high school pitcher. Logan Schmidt. Mitch did send me some notes about these players. Logan Schmidt, reclassified from 2027, so will be 17 on draft day. Was 92, 94, and early 25, but now he's 94, 97 in the late summer showcases, including this game, which is video from Dodger Stadium. Slider is the go-to pitch with more sweep than downward plane. So he's in a similar we saw Carson Benge, we saw Gio Rojas, we've seen Brody Brumila. I believe there's another left-handed high school guy that we've checked out early on in this year, but interesting to see this dude, Logan Schmidt, for the first time. And we'll get a little bit of a sense of what we think of him just taking a peek at him. Looks like he's a permanently out of the stretch guy. High glove. Looks like that ball's exploding pretty good. So we're talking about a fastball slider combination. That looked like more like a curveball there. There's that sweepy slider. Get a look at that there. So he's on the young side. I've often wondered this. I was 17 when I was drafted in high school. And at that time, in those days, if you would go look at the data on draft picks, high school draft picks, especially pitchers, actually really everybody, high school first rounders, they were usually on the old side for their grades, some of them being even 19 years old at the time of the draft out of high school. And so, in effect, it gave them more development time to be picked in that window than a 17-year-old. And I always felt like if I was 18, I could have been a guy drafted and signed out of high school because I did improve a lot physically. I did improve quite a bit physically from my senior year in high school into my freshman year at Northeastern. But nowadays, from what I understand, with the draft modeling, being younger makes you show up incredibly rosy in these draft models. So to me, I try to take the age out of it as much as possible because most of them are young. Anyway, like 17, 18, 19, they're all young dudes. But with the modeling preferring a younger age, I do wonder, if you have a kid at home and you're thinking about how to get him drafted or look good, would you want to make him on the younger side in his grade to look better in these models? Would you want to reclassify the way that Logan Schmidt did here? What's the calculus on that? If you're a scout like Carl, what do you think about that? Like, does that matter to you? Does it not matter to you? I think these are all legitimate questions that I'm curious about, at least. All right, so it's a fairly linear delivery. I think it's a normal arm slot. I'm not seeing a ton of repeatability on his breaking ball, so he's a little bit of a project, but it's a natural, easy 93, 95 left-handed 17-year-old here with a decent breaking ball shape. So that's what you're kind of looking at. That delivery should allow him to throw a lot of strikes. So I wouldn't say I'm as impressed with the way he moves as like a Gio Rojas, but it's fairly clean overall. This is very clean, to be honest with you. Look at all the empty yellow seats there at Dodger Stadium. It's always a weird thing. Didn't Willits reclass? Yes, and it seems like everybody seems to be doing that. But honestly, like with the draft modeling, like you're always looking to reverse engineer the system. Like, how can I, beat the system and get myself picked? If age is a big factor, you can game that a little bit. So I'm always curious what the strategy is on stuff like that. All right, let's watch one more pitch and we'll get on to the next guy. I do like the delivery, but obviously you'd have to see him versus better competition to get a better gauge on where he is right now. But I don't see any red flags in any of the athletic side. All right, second guy to look at is left-handed pitcher Cole Carlon out of Arizona State, facing WVU here in the Big 12 tournament semifinal. This is our second prospect. This is a college lefty. Much more of a little bit of a unique timing system here with a double glove tap in his delivery. It looks like, for me, he's got a higher arm angle, and he's going to be pitching with more downhill plane here. So I would expect him to have a downhill breaking ball, and that could be more of his game. I think he's got good deception. That's an easy 95. Yeah, he has one of the best sliders in college baseball. It makes sense to me From that angle, you would think he would have a great plane on his slider. So I'm hoping to see some of those here in a minute. Totally. Worked in 5-tool baseball in Arizona for a while. Best high school prospect I've ever seen has to be Cam Caminiti. If you get the chance in the future to watch him, he's got some nasty stuff. Well, we've certainly heard about him, and he's been on my coffee cup sorting list with some good outings recently. I know he's in the low minors still. As he creeps up the ladder, trust me, we'll be watching some Cam Caminiti. There's that downhill slider. So out of the high slot, if you can create that downhill action, you're going to get a lot of chase below the zone, and that's what we see there. Out of this pitch. That's super nasty. What is there any notes here from Mitch? Cole Carlon, slider is short and hard, 87-89, but can change the shape of it with downward action and 2 strikes. Gyro shape that gets over 50% whiff, despite using it 53% of the time. So he's a slider spammer, which means he should be a fast move. This is Cole Carlon, Colecarlon, Arizona State. I actually really like what I'm seeing from him because to me, he's got starter potential for sure, but easy reliever potential with a dominating slider fastball combination and some deception from the left side. So I like him a lot from my early look at him. No doubt about it. Big guy, good deception, good arm angle, good pitches that pair with that. Very effective at a high level with his slider. Delivery has good rhythm and athleticism, works really well in his lower half in his delivery. Slight old school feel to it. Hey, Otto, will Italy win a WBC before their next World Cup? Gosh, I hope not. I mean, it'd be cool to win the WBC for Italy, but let's not pretend like soccer's not the main sport. Does look like Cole gets in a little bit of trouble sometimes letting his breaking ball go a little too early with some of those arm side flyers. But you get the idea of the delivery from the front. Here he is from the low home angle. These angles are great that Mitch has been throwing my way here on the Synergy app. Yeah, Mitch cooking with these videos for sure. In zone whiff, 34.2%. That's amazing, even at that college level. You can see, though, he hides the ball very well because he's kind of closed off for a really long time. And then there's that slider in zone. That's a nice pitch, man. And it's gonna come off the fastball really late. Yeah, it's not a short stride, so that allows him to kind of get above the ball and drive it downhill with that steep VAA going down. So I like what I'm seeing from him. There's a very simple formula to how he's going to get his outs, and he has all the raw ability to do it for sure. So I'm a fan of him. I might move him up the rankings a little bit. You can work with that. Arch is rocking tennis. Thanks, my love. Good. That's my boy. Yeah, we watched Brody Bumila early on. Obviously an electric fastball. Delivery's still a little sloppy. He's going to be a big-time project, but he's a huge body, 100-mile-an-hour lefty. We watched him a little bit, Jay Henney, early, a couple weeks back. He should be somewhere on a thumbnail. All right, so that's Cole Carlon. He's our second prospect. They were both, the two we've watched so far, Logan Schmidt and Cole Carlon, both lefties. And this is our last guy. This is Aiden Robbins. He's playing center field for Texas. Good hitter, negative defender in the outfield, so we don't even have any of his defensive stuff. But here he is at the plate. Really good hitter. So he's getting drafted off that hit tool. Little leg hang with the swing. Right-handed hitter. And that's the stroke. Man, a little bit of a scissor action, a little bit of a light leg hang, ability to drive the ball the other way, which is pretty impressive. Ooh, and then a breaking ball pull side. Man, these balls are really high that he's hitting. Damn. That's a bomb. I don't know if that load will work at the highest level or not. He might have to figure something out because he's hanging quite a bit there. But the swing is working great at the college level. I mean, he's demolishing these off-speed pitch mistakes. I kind of like this comp. Kind of reminds me of Rhys Hoskins' swing a little bit. I agree. Every player that we've looked at has been projected inside the top 2 rounds, if not closer to that first round. So these guys are all projected to go pretty high. Some people have Aiden Robbins in the teens. They really believe in the bat that much. How many home runs does he have? I guess we'd have to look that up. I don't have the stats in front of me. Here he is versus Tennessee. Little inside-out job there. He hit a home run against Coastal Carolina that went 466. Oh, here's a hit off of, man, what's this dude's name from Tennessee? We just watched him pitching. We did this a couple, like maybe 3 shows ago. Anyway, good swing there. Thanks, man. Ooh, another nice Oppo swing. So he's using the whole field. That's impressive. Yeah, Tegan Kuntz. We just watched him. Good call, Uncle Ted. 23 home runs, 22% strikeout rate, 14% walk rate. Okay. Seems to be a pretty good breaking ball hitter, to be honest. I'd like to see him on fastballs up in the zone. I wonder if that's what we're going to see a lot of when this dude gets to the real deal. I mean, they keep throwing him breaking balls. Why isn't Landon Hairston projected in a top round with 30 bombs on the year? Confuses me. Is he not an underclassman? He's a sophomore. Yeah, that's why. That's what I thought. I just assumed the same thing, that if he wasn't, he'd be projected pretty high with the show he's put on at Arizona State. That doesn't happen every day. All right, a couple more swings from here, then we'll watch them from the side, and then we'll do probables for today. This has been a good show. 23 home runs, 63 RBIs for Aiden Robbins. 62, excuse me. All right, so that's the swing from the front. Let's check out the swing from the side. Ty Head is 21. Can he get drafted as a sophomore? Pretty sure that's the case. Yes, that's always been the case, so unless they change the rule. If you're 21, you can usually get drafted. Oh, Harwich Mariners. That was my team in the Cape. Pretty cool to see. Little side angle. I mean, here the leg kick looks even a little more quiet in Cape Cod League action. Ooh, there was a toe tap. That might have been a 2-strike swing there. So actually a pretty fairly quiet swing, although he had a little more of a leg hang going this regular season for Texas. I think it's kind of just like a good bat path, more so than anything else. Man, these side angles are great. We're like through a fence, some random dude with a camcorder. This is great. That looked like Brewster or somewhere. This is Chatham. Oh, this is that's Harwich's field, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally a Rhys Hoskins load. Whoever commented that early, 100% facts. Jay Henney, 99.68. I'm with you all day long. Rhys Hoskins is the comp on that swing. All right, that's going to be it for the show. Had a fun time with you guys today. I didn't review. I missed a lot of things today, no doubt. But we dug into a bunch of topics. I thought it was a good show overall. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. Here are the matchups for today, Wednesday. Max Meyer and Andrew Alvarez from Nats Park. That game's starting in an hour. Detroit and Tampa Bay. Troy Melton, who had a great start last week that I meant to review and didn't. He's on the mound today at the Trop versus Nick Martinez. White Sox Twins, Eric Fetty, Taj Bradley from Target Field. Mets Mariners, 3:40 Eastern game today. Freddie Peralta, George Kirby. Mets looking not to get swept out there. They kind of need this one. Padres, Phillies, Walker Buehler, and Christopher Sanchez is back on the mound. He just faced the Padres, so he's facing them again, looking to extend that scoreless streak beyond 44 1/3 of whatever he's at. That's going to be interesting. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop me a like. There's 79 of you on here. I'd love to get some more likes so we can drive some more traffic to the channel. That's much appreciated. You guys are awesome. But let's not forget about the main plot tonight. Let's go Knickerbockers. Sorry if there's any Spurs fans in the chat. Buehler, Sanchez, we need to watch him to see if he can keep the streak going. Bassett, Tolley, can totally keep his hot pitching going. And then there's this one, Gavin Williams, Garrett Cole. This might be the best pitching matchup of the night. These guys are fantastic. Here's a reminder that Sanchez is only 14.1 innings from the record. Can he do it? That's 2 more dominant starts scoreless in a row. Royals, Reds, Stephen Kolek, Chase Burns, who had been scratched with illness, but he's back today. Jays, Braves, Corbin, Grant Holmes. Giants, Brewers, Logan Webb, and TBA for the Brewers. Rangers, Cardinals, Mackenzie Gore, Andre Palante. Athletics, Cubs, Jeffrey Springs, Colin Ray. Pirates, Astros, Paulie Skeens. And Spencer Arrighetti. And Rockies, Angels, Michael Lorenzen, Walbert Urania. Good day for Michael Lorenzen. I think the Angels were his hometown team, so he gets to pitch in the hometown. And then our final game of the night, sub-1 ERA still into June. Shohei Ohtani going against the Diamondbacks at Chase Field and Zach Gallen. So lots of good pitchers tonight on the mound. Excited to see if Sanchez can keep it going, how Garrett looks in his 3rd start. Shohei, tons of different guys. Chase Burns. So it should be a good show tomorrow. You guys are my crew, my grounds crew, my favorite people that you hang with me every single day on here. I'm going to go get these chapters up, and I think you guys are the best. This has genuinely become something, and I appreciate the nice thing you meant to say there. You guys are awesome. Over under on 100-mile-an-hour pitches for Sanchez. I bet he might have 1 on the year. Obviously, Sanchez is the best. Genuinely, it's become my favorite channel, and I'm hitting millions. We'll get there someday, but it's not the main purpose. Main purpose is to just do it. And do it well. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Everybody on TikTok as well. I'll be back tomorrow on the stream, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Try to make some shorts today. Hopefully we had some moments worthy of the shorts. And I will see you guys on the flip side tomorrow, Thursday. All right. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Great hump day, if you will. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.